Hi everybody, Mitchell here. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about what it's like to try to get weight loss surgery as a wheelchair user. I've been trying to do this for a few months now. I've been part of a program to get weight loss surgery. There's a bunch of things that have to be done. It's not just see a doctor, they sign a paper, and they give you the surgery. No. It's challenging for anyone. I'll put it that way. It's not an easy thing to try to do at all. But as a wheelchair user, there's additional challenges. One being, yes, I'm a bigger person. I am, full disclosure, I'm around, I'd say 300 pounds. But more disclosure, I honestly don't know how much I weigh. My last recorded weight was about 4 years ago when I got my my power chair before I got my new one. So my weight back then was around 348, or at least that's what we came up with. Because to take my weight, I need to use a wheelchair scale, and they are almost impossible to find where I live. And the one place that I know has one that's somewhat close by has a rumor of asbestos being in the building. So I don't really feel like taking my chances just to get my weight taken. And a few years later, dealing with asbestos in my lungs or cancer and crap like that. I've been searching for a place to get my weight taken, or a way to get my weight taken, for a few years since that last time. And I thought, hey, this is a weight loss place. They probably have either a scale or a lot of resources, right? That makes sense. So, from pretty much day one, I've explained my situation to this doctor or nurse practitioner or wherever they are that I've been working with from the weight loss place, and explain to them my challenges and what I need. So she wrote it in her notes, and I just sort of left it at that and assumed that, they would just keep at it until we find a wheelchair scale or a bed scale or something that can get an accurate weight. Because it would be really nice to have an accurate baseline. So yesterday, I get an email from the weight loss place, and it says, hey, we're giving me places that should have a wheelchair scale that I could check. And I've already done all of these things, and there's nothing here where I live. I live in the middle of the desert, the Mojave Desert in California. There's nothing here. I'm in a small town, not too far from a military base. There's a lot of military activity here. A lot of those things that you might hear on TV, secret, top secret military activity, classified military activity. Those types of things most likely happen in the desert near where I live. Since I live in a place like that, there's not a whole lot of resources for medical things, and I have to travel. Um, I usually have to travel a good 2 hours one way for medical care because people where I live don't know how to treat transgender people, for one thing. And also, being disabled, there's not a lot of uh, like standard equipment already in place that I could use or that I need. I wrote back and I told her I've already tried all those things, but she basically was just passing off her part of her job for me to do for her. It's not my job to find a scale for me to get my weight taken because she's the one who works at a weight loss center or a weight loss place. And that's part of her job because she's getting paid to do that job. The email that I got back basically said it's illogical for you to come down here to these places where we are to get your weight taken every time you have a visit. Uh, and I said, for me, it's my new normal since my injury. Um, this traveling to get medical care. And I've asked a question of her 3 times and been ignored 3 times, which I think is a perfectly valid question considering she works at a weight loss center. I asked, and it's also on the several pages of intake forms that I had to fill out. They ask if you're bedridden or not. So, I don't consider myself bedridden, but I'll get into that in a second. Um, I asked her, how do you weigh your bedridden patients? And she will not answer the question. Instead of being honest with me and saying probably like, oh, we turn them away, or we're not able to do that, or just be honest, She just completely ignores the question, completely. And here we are, she expects me to do her job for her. And I've explained, I go to this place that you're mentioning that I could go to get my weight done because I'm dealing with them, this same building, to try to get my blood treatment done, which is pretty much why I decided to make this video since they sort of tie together. I probably should have just decided to read the email because it's pretty. I'm proud of what I wrote. I'm a good writer. I don't like confronting people unless I have to. But you know what? 1 second. Okay, so I've decided that I'm going to share my email exchange with this weight loss place. I'm not trying to start a conspiracy or problems for them or anything. This is just to share my experience as someone in a wheelchair trying to get weight loss surgery. The first one says, "Hello, Mitchell. At your last visit which was my second, I believe, video appointment with this place. At your last visit, you mentioned you hadn't been weighed because you need a place that can weigh you in your chair or has a bed scale. I'd love to get an accurate weight for you and figure out a way to continue getting those weights even after surgery. You might call the hospital in Barstow or a couple of nursing homes near you to see if they would let you weigh in on one of their scales. I'm reading this just as written, and I apologize for the wonky camera angle. I can't really see myself while I'm reading, but anyway, here we go. These places are the most common. That shows me most common. We're right here. She says the most common locations to have the equipment to accommodate your needs in health. That tells me that she has no clue what she's telling me. She's just randomly trying to find resources and has no clue about the process or anything like that. So my reply was, one would think so, right? Everyone I ask tells me in reference to a wheelchair scale, tells me they don't have any or don't know where any are. And I've been searching for years. Which is why I asked you, since this place, in theory at least, is supposed to have access to either wheelchair scales or resources to wheelchair or bed scales. This is basically what I'm telling her in this email. And at the end, I ask, what do you do to weigh bedridden people? Genuine question. And I asked her this because on the form, one of the forms I filled out, they ask if you're bedridden or not. And I chose to not put that on my form because I don't consider myself to be bedridden. To me, that means someone that can't do anything at all for themselves, and that's not me. So this is her response to that second email. She says, "Hello, Eisenhower Hospital and Desert Regional Hospital are equipped with beds that can weigh a patient. Unfortunately, it's unrealistic for you to come here to Palm Springs or Rancho Mirage. Rancho Mirage is where the weight loss place is. I believe Palm Springs is where the hospital is, because I've been to the hospital. She says, unfortunately, it's unrealistic for you to come here to Palm Springs or Rancho Mirage to have a weight taken every time we have a visit. I was hoping there would be something in Barstow you could realistically get to a couple times before surgery. The scale in our office has handles and could get your weight if you are able to hold yourself up for a couple of seconds, but it doesn't allow a wheelchair to roll onto it. As it is a small step up and not up against the floor. Okay. So basically, they have a scale, but it's not an accessible scale. It's just a scale for bigger people that has some bars on it. That's basically the 600-pound life scale that they use to get their weight, sometimes in the hospital. So this is my next response. I said, by this logic, it would be just as unrealistic for me to have to travel to Rancho Mirage just to get my blood treatment done. But that's what's happening. I'll be making my second trip there to finally get my treatment done at Eisenhower. It's only unrealistic because most places, doctors, eye doctors, ultrasound places, etc., aren't properly equipped to treat disabled people. For me, it's become my new normal since my injury. I do it all the time in order to get proper medical care. And then I give her my appointment time that I'll be going to Eisenhower. And I tell her, if you make arrangements for me to be able to use the needed scale, I could do it that day. I would also be willing to make the separate appointments when necessary. Please keep in mind, I use an electric wheelchair and I'm unable to transfer. I will have a sling underneath me because I use a Hoyer lift to transfer, which could also be used to slide me from chair to bed scale and back, which would be the most accurate. I hope that none of this is anything you or anyone else have to experience for a very long time. Inclusivity or lack thereof doesn't seem like something many people genuinely notice or care about. Companies squeak by, doing just enough to pass ADA inspection. But especially in this field, inclusivity is important. Best to you too, Mitchell. I don't like having to write letters like that, and I hesitated in sending that to her. Because I wasn't sure if it sounded mean or not. After that, she still ignored my question about how they weigh bedridden patients, and she ignored the majority of what I wrote in that response to her. The next exchange is just her telling me she's passed this to the bariatric coordinator to try to arrange things at Eisenhower. And then they want to know what part of the building I'm going to be in, which is pretty much common sense and wouldn't take much digging because I'm having the medical phlebotomy treatment for my polycythemia. Based on these responses from these people, I don't really feel heard. But I felt like I had to do my part in trying to explain to them what my world is like, because I feel like they just live in a bubble, and their bubble is a certain kind of weight loss patient that they're used to. And to be fair, though, it's like this in a lot of places that I go to. They're used to a certain kind of patient, and most of them have no clue what to do with me. So they expect me to know what to do in a lot of cases. Sometimes they don't expect that. We just all sort of work together and figure things out, which is what I prefer. Um, or to have someone willing to do the little bit of or a lot of bit of extra work that it takes. And I also have um, several caseworkers or case managers, not caseworkers, through my insurance that help me with the system and navigating the system and trying to help me find things that I need to get proper care. And I appreciate them because with their help, it helps me to be more independent than I would be without them. Um, I don't know how I feel about this place so far, or at least the staff. I don't know. Um, the doctor, I don't know either. I mean, he's got a good record and good results, and right now that's all I care about. Um, I just wanted to share this experience with you because this is what a lot of my world is like, and I think I can safely say that um, this experience is similar to what a lot of disabled people deal with when facing people in the medical field. They just have no clue uh, how to deal with us or what it's like for us. Um, I am sort of at a loss for words at this point because I think that they unintentionally, I'll say that, unintentionally make things really difficult for us or more difficult for us because finding resources is difficult for them. And instead of just dealing with it or trying to deal with it, they throw it back on us or they've thrown it back on me. And um, what I had to do in my response, that one email response, is basically throw it back on her and tell her, no, I'm not going to do your job for you. This is how it's going to be done if we're going to do it or how we can. I don't like getting that assertive in a letter to someone. Um, but I also don't like that they just sort of throw things back on me and expect me to just figure it out on my own when it's not my job. I'm not the one getting paid. I don't get paid at all for any of that crap. But she gets a paycheck every week or whatever. So she's getting paid to do all that stuff. She can do it. She can figure it out. It'll be good for her resume, right? Like, come on. Thank you for listening to this experience. I hope that it helps someone feel not so alone in all of this. I'm here to support all of you through anything that you're going through. That's why I'm here. Um, in the comments, just say hi or let me know if you've gone through anything like this with medical places. Or just drop me a comment, say hi. It helps the video engagement. which means more people will see this. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any topic suggestions, let me know. Either drop me a comment or reach out to me on my socials. They're up there on the top. I am mentally, emotionally spent, but I really appreciate that you're all here. And I hope that we can all build and grow together. I think that would be awesome. So I'll see you very soon.